Hi, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make balanced compositions in woodland, which is quite important because it's basically a load of chaos in some woodlands, and also how to find focal points. I'm going to be talking somewhat about image quality and how it's easy to become obsessive about it. Guilty. The sun's been up for about half an hour. You can still get some nice shots, like if you make the sun come around your tree like that. Yeah, that still looks pretty good. The important thing here is to keep the camera level, because as soon as you start pointing it upwards, you get the converging verticals. Some might like that look. I'm not particularly fond of it. So I try to keep my camera level. Perhaps zoom in a little bit to get rid of this too much foreground. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I've just found a nice clearing now, and there's some nice mist behind these trees. Not enough to make the really nice streaming kind of sunlight pictures, but never mind. It's making a nice clean background for this shot. So I spent a lot of time handheld just panning around, having a good look around, and found a fairly good composition at 70mm. And I like the way I've found quite a clean brambles in the foreground with not many fallen trees. I think we've got a shot here. I'm just going to turn it around. Not sure if I like the bend in the tree or not. Anyway, let's try zooming out actually. Yeah, I think that's better, including a bit more of the sky. Yeah, that's more like it, I think. Yeah, I think I'll take a shot there. That looks pretty good. So that's at 50mm. Clean off that one off the left. Yeah, that's pretty good. Right, I'll take that shot. If you're new to woodland photography, you come to a pine forest like this, you'll notice that most of the trunks look exactly the same. So I wandered around for quite a while and found this green one, which is going to be my main focal point. So it's good to have a focal point in your images, even if most of the other trees look the same. So that'll be my focal point, which I'm going to place on a third line because I like the rule of thirds. It's one that you can apply to a lot of your photography. Not all of it, so break it, please. But so that's my key focal point. And I also like the way the light is coming through the trees in the background, so I'm going to actually let that burn out and go to complete white. And you'll also notice that the curvature of the trees, because of this wide angle lens that I'm filming on now, so it's called converging verticals. So I don't want that in my final picture because pine trees are all straight up, aren't they? So my technique to get around that is to take a shot which is zoomed out from your original shot, and then to zoom in and crop and then pull the tree straight using the transform tool in Photoshop. So if I zoom in now, you can see the tree straighten up somewhat, but it's not going to straighten fully because I'm pointing the camera upwards, which gives some distortion. I can't do a lot about that because I'm on a slope. I'm looking up towards the trees, so I cannot get the camera level. Now let's see if I can get a shot lined up. I think that might be zooming in too far, and I'm not keen on the way this stump here is kind of distracting in the corner. So I might have to try and cut that out. But I don't really want to go central. Maybe. No, central, I don't like central. Let's have a look over that way. That might be better. Okay, so I've opened the image in Photoshop. Not really worried about the white areas, letting them burn out slightly, doesn't matter. It just means that's going to appear as completely white in the print, but I like the look it gives. So to transform these trees to make them straighter, You first of all go to select all, which is Control A on the keyboard, and then you go to transform, edit transform, which is Control T, and now out of the options you want to choose perspective, and then just drag the handle on the right hand side up till you get the trees roughly straight. That looks about right. And because we've done that, we need to now go to the regular transform, which is Control T again, and then I'm just going to, holding the shift key down, I'm just going to pull the bottom of the image down to get rid of this little tiny branch in the bottom corner, and also just make the image look a bit more more tightly composed. And that's about it. I might get the green tree a little bit straighter. So from the options again, I'm going to choose skew and just go on the left hand side. I'm just going to pull the image just slightly left to straighten it up a bit. That's it, press enter. So I've managed to get the camera level this time so you can see how nice and straight the trees are. And I just found this lovely young pine. So I want to emphasize this young pine against the really tall ones. So rather than shooting in horizontal format like you're viewing in now, I think I'm going to do a vertical format, which is rare for me. And it's going to get rid of a few bits of clutter just to make the image a bit simpler. That was dead anyway. Get rid of a few bits of clutter, save photoshopping them out. So hopefully it's obvious what my focal point is in this image. So I found this lovely straight beech tree with its silvery bark. It's a beauty, isn't it? I put it on the third line again. Now I know it's very similar to a picture I just took, but I can't put it on the other third line because there's some trees similar to it over there. So I just want I want this one to be highlighted on its own. So obviously I'm going to focus on that as well, and then let the rest go, you know, be in focus or out of focus. Doesn't really matter as long as that one's sharp. I think that's fine. So it's not a great shot. I know, but the more you explore your local woodland, the more you get to find places like this. And one day I'll come back and this tree will have some beautiful light behind it or something like that. So it's good to get to know your local forest. The longed for mist didn't happen, but I did manage to get a few really good shots of the sun rising through the pine trees. And I wasn't expecting that because I just came here to check out the woodland, and as it's getting near peak autumn time. Yeah, I was really pleased with this few images with the sun coming through the trees. I always prefer shooting into the sun in woodland rather than the other way around. I just found this moss-covered tree, and it's got some nice ferns growing out of it, and I like it a lot, but I don't like this horrible distracting top right hand corner. It really leads your eye away from the subject. So I'm either going to zoom right in. Yeah, I think that might be better, but then I've cut the one off on the side. I might go the whole hog and do something like that. But you can see how the ferns are moving quite a bit in the breeze. So I'm going to have to put the ISO up to about 400 just to make sure that I can freeze the motion of these ferns. And also I'll underexpose by one stop, which gives me an extra stop of shutter speed as well. So I just found this beautiful young beech tree, which is just starting to turn yellow and golden. And I've walked around it just to try and get the best composition. But I think the one you're looking at now is the best because this tree, which is side lit from that side, is kind of balancing it out nicely. So both sides of the frame are nicely balanced. Can you hear the buzzard? I think it's a young one crying for its mum. Hungry. What I don't like is this annoying log with its bark stripped off, probably by a deer or maybe dogs. But I haven't brought my chainsaw with me, so I think I'm going to just put that on the edge of my frame and then clone it out in the final image. But yeah, I'm liking this. It's a nicely balanced shot. Just came across this lovely beech tree turning golden, and it's a bit messy though, so I don't think a wide angle view is going to be any good. I think what I'm going to do is perhaps focus on some of these leaves with my longer lens with the water behind, because that can make a good shot. Yeah, getting closer now, so I'm at 300mm, and even without the stream in the background, that's quite a nice composition because it leads nicely down to the bottom right. Yeah, because the out of focus beech leaves in the background really make the image. Not sure if I'll take that one. I've got so many like it. So now I'm going to try and zoom in a bit more and put my tripod up higher so I've got the stream behind. So I've just switched to my longer lens and I'm loving these beech leaves because you've got fairly deep green, light green, lime green, yellow and gold. Fantastic. So I'm not sure if I like the gap at the bottom of the frame, so I might just make this all about just the leaves and just fill the frame with these leaves. So that's at 100mm. Just try zooming in a bit. If you zoom in though, you make the dark gaps, one in the centre, one on the right, you make those dark gaps more dominant, and I'm not sure if I like that. Yeah, I think I prefer it zoomed out at 100mm, so that's what I'm going to do. These beautiful large-leaved oak trees are losing their leaves. I think they're oak. They're certainly shaped like oak. And there are loads of leaves, if I put my camera around, all over the floor here. And they're rather beautiful. If I pick one up, you can see how gorgeous they are. Now what I'm going to do is take a few of these home, and I'll put them out in the back garden and wait for the rain to land on them, and then you can do some nice close-ups with raindrops or even dewdrops, which make for great close-up pictures if you've got a macro lens or a lens that focuses really close. Today I'm at Respryn Woods, which is near Lanhydrop, near Bodmin in Cornwall, and I've set myself a bit of a challenge today, because actually that's a complete lie. I'm not setting myself a challenge. I stupidly forgot my tripod, so I've come along here by the riverbank, and I've just seen some nice beech tree leaves which are turning nice autumny gold, and with the river behind, so I want to zoom in on them with a long lens. And of course normally I'd use my tripod because it's quite dark in here and I'm going to need a very slow shutter speed, but it's good because I'm going to work around it and enjoy myself anyway. So for this first shot I've set the ISO to 400 just so that I've got extra fast shutter speed, and I'm underexposing by 1 stop exposure, so I'm getting a shutter speed of about a 60th of a second on a 400mm lens, which is a bit risky, but I've got steady shot on my camera, so I've got that on obviously. So I'm sure I'll get something, and I'll show you that now. It pays to stop and look around. I just seen this, what is it? Oh, it's an oak tree with a nice hole in the bottom. So I'm going to zoom in on that as well with my long lens, and just, I like the fact that it's got the hole in the bottom because it's going to give the image a sense of mystery. Yeah, so I came here today to Westbury Woods because although I knew the beech trees weren't going to be golden brown yet, because most of them are still green, I thought it'd be good to have a look around and get myself ready for the peak period of autumn, which is in about a week, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks even. So hopefully I'll be returning. So I'm still on ISO 100, and here's the view you can see I've got. Obviously this is in 16:9 format, so I'm going to switch it to 3:2 in a minute. But yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. So today was a grey day, and so I didn't really fancy any coastal photography. I thought I'd just come to the woods, and it's always good to be in the woods. It doesn't matter what the weather's like really, unless it's really windy, in which case you don't want branches falling on top of you. But it's just good to come here. I've got a couple of shots already which I wasn't expecting, because this was just really a kind of reconnaissance mission to find out how it's going to look in a week or two, so I'm ready for that day when it's hopefully going to be peak season. So even though autumn's not come yet to Cornwall properly, there's still plenty of golden leaves all over the floor. I love the way this beech tree roots are up on another level, and so that the roots are way above this ground level here. It is good to come to a place like this without a tripod, I think partly because I've always been obsessed with high image quality and getting an image as sharp as I possibly can, with good reason. I mean, I started on a 35mm film camera back in 1978 or whenever it was, and I thought the shots were great, and I was really pleased that I was actually seeing the world with new eyes, as the cliche goes when you first get a camera. But I would look at magazine covers and I'd think, oh, why is the quality of those so much better? And then of course I found out about medium format cameras, and I knew I had to get one. So I got my first medium format camera, which is a classic Rolleiflex 2.8F, a legendary camera. I wish I'd never sold it. Paid 150 quid for it, used of course. And from that point onwards, as soon as I became a professional, I just thought I want the best image quality possible. So I've had medium format and large format film cameras, which are great, but you have to get them really professionally drum scanned to get the best quality out of them. And of course I've had medium format digital. I've had several medium format digital cameras, very expensive ones, all sold now. But the quality has been amazing. But this is partly because I do sell large wallpaper-sized prints. I've had my images printed, 6 meters wide, so you can understand how when I get those printed and I go to view them, I want to make sure they're damn sharp for my client. So it's kind of understandable that I've been obsessed by quality. When I get home with these images today, I might think, oh, I wish I'd had my tripod, but it's nice to be free of it. And of course, unless you're a professional like me, you don't have to worry about quality so much at all. So all you need is a 24 megapixel camera, a couple of lenses. Don't be obsessed about the lens quality either. Just as long as you get a good quality make, like some of the more recent Tamron or Sigma, you'll get great pictures. So yeah, don't fall into the trap I have with being obsessed with image quality. So I've moved up to Lanhydrock now, which is a mile up from Westbryn, where I was just now. The sun's come out, which is great. The other good thing about not having a tripod is it makes you think slightly differently. So I'd completely forgotten about doing some ICM photography today. And if you don't know what ICM photography is, see my video. It looks like this. And so now I'm here at this tree and I'm going to shoot at ISO 100, use a very small aperture, so f22, large number. And that gives me 1/8 of a second, and I'm just going to shake the camera around slightly during the exposure and see what we get. So what I'm doing is I'm underexposing and I'm just moving the camera around like this, and then we'll see what we get. That looks pretty good. Well, I'm pleased with that. It helps having the light shining through the trees. It gives the image a bit more of a dynamic kind of look.